In a quiet industrial corner of the continent, something extraordinary is happening. While the world has been watching Silicon Valley and Shenzhen, a small, determined startup in Africa is rewriting the rules of electric transportation by connecting vehicles to the stars. Yes, to space. This is no science fiction. It's a groundbreaking leap where satellite technology meets electric mobility, and it's unfolding in real time. A new fleet of EVs, embedded with satellite-connected systems, is being rolled out, not in Europe, not in North America, but right here on African soil. This is the story of a startup that dared to think beyond roads, beyond wires, beyond even traditional GPS. A startup that saw gaps not as obstacles, but as opportunities. For years, electric vehicles in Africa faced an uphill battle. Poor infrastructure, unreliable energy grids, lack of service stations, and limited internet connectivity. But what if you could bypass those challenges completely? What if you could charge EVs using off-grid solar, manage them through satellite IoT, and send real-time diagnostics even in the most remote regions where cell towers don't exist? That's the bold vision being executed right now. The startup's fleet of EVs doesn't rely on urban infrastructure. Instead, each vehicle is fitted with a compact satellite receiver that connects directly to low Earth orbit satellites. These vehicles receive navigation updates, traffic alerts, performance metrics, and over-the-air updates directly from space, eliminating the need for cellular towers altogether. Whether in remote deserts or bustling cities, these EVs remain connected. Fleets are monitored in real time. Routes are optimized on the fly. Maintenance alerts are sent before a breakdown ever happens. It's predictive, efficient, and, most importantly, scalable. The heart of this innovation is a custom-built telematics system that communicates directly with satellites. Built in-house by local engineers, it's lightweight, affordable, and robust enough to survive Africa's toughest terrains. And then there's power. The vehicles are paired with solar-powered micro-charging hubs, small, independent stations installed in rural areas, powered entirely by sunlight and stored in battery packs. These hubs are also satellite-connected, ensuring uptime data is always available, even when completely off-grid. This setup means one thing: mobility anywhere. For rural farmers, healthcare workers, logistics companies, and commuters alike, these vehicles don't just get you from point A to B, they bring smart, clean transportation to places once thought unreachable. This startup isn't backed by billion-dollar corporations or massive tech grants. It's driven by local talent, solving local problems with global technology. Their engineers, coders, mechanics, and energy experts work side by side, often in converted shipping containers turned labs, testing, prototyping, and refining the system that connects the sky to the streets. And the results are already visible. Pilot programs in several countries have shown impressive success. Vehicles are covering hundreds of kilometers a week with minimal downtime. Drivers are reporting smoother rides, lower fuel costs, none, in fact, and far fewer maintenance issues. But beyond the tech specs and test results, something deeper is happening. A shift. A signal. A message to the world that Africa is no longer waiting to catch up, it's pioneering its own solutions. Solutions that are cleaner, smarter, and designed for the unique realities of this diverse continent. Global satellite companies have taken notice. Partnerships are forming. International investors are circling. But the startup remains focused on the mission to make smart EV mobility accessible across Africa, not just in capital cities, but in the farthest villages and towns where technology often arrives last. This is not about replacing roads. It's about reimagining them. Making every route a smart one. Making every vehicle a data hub on wheels. And most importantly, ensuring that progress isn't reserved for the wealthy few, but reaches the many. That's why the startup is also developing affordable two-wheelers and three-wheelers using the same satellite technology, designed for small business owners, delivery workers, and even mobile medical units. Every aspect of this system, from vehicle design to data flow, is optimized for resilience and affordability. Parts are locally sourced when possible. Software is lightweight and scalable. Updates are done remotely, avoiding the need for physical service visits. The startup's founders, a group of young engineers and entrepreneurs from across Africa, believe that the future of mobility doesn't belong to any one country, it belongs to those who dare to leap forward. And by tapping into satellite networks, they found a way to leap past many of the legacy problems holding back electric mobility in the region. With each new vehicle added to the fleet, the system grows stronger, smarter, and more self-sustaining. AI-driven fleet management helps optimize usage, reduce idle time, and predict wear and tear before it happens. Data collected from every trip helps improve routes, battery life, and energy efficiency. It's an ecosystem, clean, connected, and constantly evolving. And it's entirely built with Africa in mind. The ripple effects are already being felt. Jobs are being created, not just in EV assembly, but in data science, logistics, satellite comms, and solar engineering. Schools are partnering with the startup to train students in next-gen transportation. Governments are beginning to integrate the fleet into public transit strategies. This isn't just one startup's dream. It's the beginning of a regional revolution. As the first continent-wide satellite EV fleet takes shape, the world is watching and learning. Because when necessity meets innovation, borders become irrelevant. Mountains become molehills. And what once seemed impossible becomes everyday reality. From the dusty backroads of rural Africa to the gleaming boardrooms of global tech, this story is more than just electric vehicles. It's about how a continent can skip steps, leapfrog limitations, and power itself into the future using its greatest resource, vision. A vision that connects the land, the people, and now, the sky. Africa's first satellite-connected EV fleet is no longer a dream. It's already here. And it's moving fast. As this movement accelerates, the transformation isn't limited to roads and vehicles, it's reshaping mindsets. In regions where outdated diesel trucks once ruled, clean electric fleets now glide silently, sparking curiosity and optimism in equal measure. Children gather to watch these whisper-quiet machines hum through villages. For many, it's their first encounter with modern, smart technology in motion. The impact goes deeper. Farmers now use these EVs to transport fresh produce to markets without the delays and breakdowns that once plagued them. Medical responders in isolated areas now have reliable access to patients, even in hard-to-reach zones where traditional vehicles would stall or never make it at all. Entire communities are becoming more mobile, more connected, and more economically empowered. And at the heart of all this innovation sits a fleet of vehicles that never lose connection. Even in the middle of nowhere, satellites keep them online. Route planning, maintenance checks, emergency alerts, everything flows seamlessly from sky to dashboard. It's as if each car has its own personal lifeline to the stars. What once required a massive telecom network is now handled by constellations of low Earth orbit satellites, circling the globe, relaying signals, tracking movement, and delivering data with stunning efficiency. The vehicles don't just follow roads, they help draw new ones, digitally mapping underrepresented areas, filling gaps in geographic data, and building new information highways in places where traditional networks never reached. It's data with a purpose, data that fuels planning, delivery logistics, emergency response, even local entrepreneurship. Because once you can guarantee reliable transportation and communication, 1,000 doors open. From deliveries of life-saving medicine to quick access to education materials, the ripple effects reach far beyond the drivers. These aren't just cars. They're enablers of opportunity. Meanwhile, the startup's control center looks more like a futuristic command room than a traditional office. Giant screens track moving dots across multiple countries, each a real-time EV sending metrics to the cloud. AI systems analyze patterns, flag anomalies, and continuously learn how to optimize everything from charging schedules to terrain navigation. And it's not just about Africa anymore. The success of this fleet is catching the attention of tech leaders worldwide. Satellite companies, clean energy investors, and mobility strategists are now looking at Africa not as a market to catch up, but as a model to learn from. Why? Because where others needed fiber optics, this system needs only sky. Where others waited on infrastructure, this one built its own. Where others saw risk, this startup saw the future. Their next goal? Expansion. The team is preparing to deploy in new territories, with specialized vehicles suited for everything from dense cities to highland trails. They're also building partnerships with local governments to integrate these EVs into public and municipal fleets, cleaning up cities, reducing noise pollution, and lowering transport costs. And through open-source collaborations, they're encouraging other innovators across Africa and beyond to use the model, modify it, improve it, and scale it. This isn't just disruption, it's inspiration. It's a living example of how low-resource environments can produce high-impact solutions. Every success story in the fleet adds to a growing archive of local ingenuity. Engineers in Nairobi, Cape Town, Accra, and Kigali are now co-authoring a new chapter of mobility, one that belongs to the continent and to the world. Because the African startup didn't just create a fleet, they built a proof of concept. A functional, scalable model of what's possible when emerging technologies meet bold ambition. When satellites, solar, software, and wheels collide in just the right way. And the best part? They're just getting started. Next up, integration with drone logistics. Mobile EV charging convoys. Expanded use of AI to make real-time decisions during floods, sandstorms, and changing political borders. The technology is ready. The ideas are flowing. The road ahead is vast. And the stars? They're closer than ever. So the next time you hear someone say Africa is behind, tell them to look up. Because this startup has connected the continent to the skies, and the world is finally paying attention. Africa's first satellite-connected EV fleet isn't just a project. It's a signal, a beacon, a new kind of roadmap. And it's heading straight toward the future, with the entire continent in the driver's seat. What's unfolding is more than an innovation, it's a quiet revolution. One driven not by billion-dollar factories or flashy marketing, but by necessity, by resourcefulness, by people who understand that waiting for the world to build for them is no longer an option. This startup didn't set out to impress, they set out to solve. To bring mobility where it was missing. To give people access to energy, connection, and opportunity through wheels guided by space. And that's exactly what they've done. Each vehicle in the fleet tells a different story. One belongs to a rural midwife who now travels to patients faster than ever. Another serves a mobile library, reaching children who've never held a book. Others support logistics, small-scale farming, medical aid, food delivery, water purification transport, and even education teams. What connects them all isn't just satellite signals, it's purpose. And there's more coming. The startup's next-generation vehicle prototypes are even more adapted to local needs, featuring extended-range batteries, lightweight composite bodies for better efficiency on unpaved roads, and modular interiors that can be reconfigured for cargo, passengers, or even mobile clinics in under an hour. And still, each one remains connected to space. Even in areas without internet, cell service, or power grids, they remain online, transmitting vital data to operators, receiving live updates, syncing with solar-powered charging hubs that also double as community power banks. In some areas, those hubs have become local landmarks. Places where people gather, not just to charge, but to learn, share news, or access cloud-based services. Children watch as vehicles dock silently. Elders marvel at machines that need no fuel. And the rest of the world? They're beginning to understand that innovation doesn't require skyscrapers or Wall Street, just clarity, courage, and community. With each passing month, the impact scales. Carbon emissions fall. Maintenance costs drop. Uptime improves. And every kilometer driven is a kilometer away from dependency on foreign fossil fuels, corrupt infrastructure systems, and digital inequality. This startup is proving that Africa isn't a testing ground. It's a proving ground, where EVs meet edge technology, where satellites empower streets, and where the future is not being imported, it's being built, brick by digital brick, wheel by smart wheel, from the inside out. The real beauty of this transformation? It's invisible. There are no dramatic roadshows, no keynote launches in tech theaters, no million-dollar ad campaigns. Only movement. Silent. Sustainable. Scalable. Like the satellites circling above, the change is quiet, constant, and global in reach. And the startup knows it's not just about vehicles. It's about visibility. Because when the world sees an African-led solution succeed, it rewrites a global script. One that too often paints the continent in deficit instead of abundance. Now, that narrative is being reprogrammed, in real time, through real movement, from the ground up. A network of thinkers, builders, dreamers, and doers, linked by sky. This is a template for tomorrow. An entirely new blueprint of how mobility, energy, communication, and community can converge, not in theory, but in motion. While other nations debate smart cities, Africa is building smart roads. While others plan for future fleets, the fleet is already here. And while others chase connection, this startup reached the stars. And brought them home. As the sun rises over the African horizon, something incredible begins to stir, not in a lab, not in a high-rise boardroom, but on the roads of small towns, mountain passes, dusty trails, and cities pulsing with new energy. You hear no roar. No engine noise. Just motion. Just purpose. These are not ordinary vehicles. They don't rely on fuel pumps. They don't wait for cell towers. They are guided by something far beyond, satellites hundreds of kilometers above Earth, constantly orbiting, constantly feeding them information, constantly syncing them with a digital brain that never sleeps. Each car, truck, and bike in this growing satellite-connected fleet is part of a living organism. Self-aware, self-adjusting, self-evolving. It's more than engineering. It's choreography. The way the vehicles glide between solar hubs, how data flows between Earth and orbit, how AI learns from every route, every tire rotation, every battery cycle. It's like watching a futuristic dance, written in code, powered by the sun, connected to space. But here's what makes it breathtaking. It's happening in places that have historically been left out of the tech race. Villages where running water is a luxury. Towns where power outages are daily. Regions where internet access is often a dream. Now those places are first in line. They're not catching up, they're leading. They're skipping over all the old systems the rest of the world depended on. No telecom giants. No oil barons. No infrastructure waiting games. Just innovation. Just people. Just possibility. And space. You can't talk about this movement without understanding the satellites themselves. Thousands of small, fast-moving objects circling Earth in precise orbits. Each one beaming packets of data back and forth, navigation, diagnostics, updates, optimizations. This isn't just GPS. This is full-scale, end-to-end connectivity from the sky down. That means no more waiting for roads to be mapped. These vehicles map them as they go. No more fearing remote breakdowns. These vehicles self-report issues before they happen. No more clunky, delayed updates. These vehicles upgrade themselves overnight. Imagine a vehicle in the middle of the Sahara receiving real-time alerts about a sandstorm. Or a delivery van rerouting automatically around political unrest, guided safely by AI. Or a medical EV in a flood zone rerouting itself to the closest emergency triage point, all coordinated by satellite. It's not futuristic. It's already in play. And still, the human side is what elevates this story. Mothers charging their EV tuk-tuks at rural solar pods to take children to school. A startup mechanic in Uganda fixing AI-powered electric scooters with an app that diagnoses issues via SpaceLink. Entire communities using EVs to form mobile marketplaces, clinics, and learning labs. The electric future isn't sterile and cold, it's warm, empowering, and full of life. And the startup? They never set out to be heroes. They started with a question: what if Africa didn't follow the world's model, but created its own? They asked, what if the roads that were never built could be digitally overlaid instead? What if a fleet didn't need a garage, but a signal? What if cars didn't just drive, but learned, adapted, and served? That's the mindset powering this entire movement. And now, it's spreading. In East Africa, governments are now requesting these vehicles to replace aging postal fleets. In West Africa, NGOs are adopting them for supply chain logistics. In Southern Africa, wildlife reserves are piloting satellite-connected off-road EVs for sustainable tourism and anti-poaching patrols. And in every case, space is the constant. The sky is no longer a boundary. It's a tool. a teammate. With every satellite connection, a remote corner of Africa gets pulled into the digital world. Every hub that opens brings not just energy, but empowerment. Every vehicle deployed becomes a symbol that says, we don't need to wait for the world, we'll build it ourselves. And the global tech world is finally catching on. Not with charity, not with pity, but with awe. Because while others are theorizing the future of mobility, this African startup is living it. Moving it. Scaling it. From space to street. From idea to impact. From isolation to innovation. This is the story they said wasn't possible. But here it is. Moving. Breathing. Expanding. And in the end, this isn't just about electric vehicles, satellites, or solar hubs. It's about rewriting the relationship between people and technology. It's about putting power, literal and digital, into the hands of those who've been left out of the narrative for too long. It's about proving that the best ideas don't need permission or a Silicon Valley zip code. Sometimes, they just need the sky and the courage to reach for it. Africa's first satellite-connected EV fleet isn't a chapter in someone else's story. It's the beginning of a brand new book. And it's being written right now, with wheels on the ground. And stars overhead. In the silence of the night, under a sky dusted with stars, one of these electric vehicles glides across a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. No engine hum, no exhaust fumes, no network towers in sight. And yet, it's fully alive. Connected. Intelligent. On mission. It moves with a kind of grace that traditional transport never had. Because this isn't just a vehicle, it's a symbol. A message from the future that says, we are here. We are ready. And we're not waiting anymore. Every mile driven, every satellite ping, every solar charge session, this fleet is reclaiming narratives, reshaping identities, and redefining what African innovation looks like. No longer the last in line. No longer the forgotten zone. Africa is becoming the prototype. The blueprint. And this startup, the one that dared to build where there was no blueprint, is now being studied by global tech giants, sustainability leaders, and think tanks who can't believe what they are seeing. Not because it's flashy, but because it's real. Not a prototype in a showroom, but a fleet on the road. Not a pitch deck, but a movement. Not a future promised, but a future delivered. With every expansion, the network grows. One vehicle becomes 10. 10 become 100. And with each connection to the stars, a continent long excluded from the fourth industrial revolution now charts its own fifth. A revolution of mobility, of energy freedom, of digital equality, of dreams becoming devices, and hope becoming horsepower. And it's just the beginning. Because this fleet is only the seed. Next comes the data layer, mapping underserved regions in ways never done before. Then, AI-driven agriculture support vehicles, analyzing soil health as they move. Then mobile clinics that can diagnose illness and connect doctors in cities with patients hundreds of miles away. Then autonomous delivery pods that can travel off-road, guided only by satellites and AI, delivering essential goods to the most remote corners of the continent. And yes, eventually interconnected EV cities. Urban zones where every vehicle, traffic signal, delivery drone, and public transport unit is talking, thinking, optimizing. Not built for the elite, but designed by the people, for the people. This is where things are heading. And it all started not with $1 billion investment but with a decision. The decision to no longer wait. To no longer ask for permission. To no longer accept that progress must come from the outside. Because Africa has always had the spirit. Now it has the tech. And for the first time in history, the sky isn't the limit. It's the infrastructure. So when future generations look back at how it all began, how mobility, connectivity, and energy were reimagined for billions of people, they won't point to a high-rise in San Francisco. They'll point to the dusty trails of Africa. To the place where a team of engineers, dreamers, and doors turned silence into signal, and the sky into a superhighway. And maybe, just maybe, they'll look up and smile. Because they'll know that somewhere, orbiting quietly above, are the satellites that started it all. And on the roads below are the people who made them matter. This is the future. Africa's future. And the world's new direction. driven by stars, rooted in soil, and unstoppable. What started as a bold idea has become a powerful reality. A startup, guided not by convention but by conviction, has reimagined mobility, not just for cities, but for everyone, everywhere. With the stars above and solar power below, Africa's roads are being rewritten, cleaner, smarter, connected in ways the world never expected. This isn't just the beginning of a new kind of electric vehicle. It's the beginning of a new kind of future. Built in Africa. Built for the world. And powered by the sky. If this story inspired you, don't just scroll away. Like the video to show your support for innovation that matters. Comment below, what do you think about satellite-powered EVs? Could this change the world? Subscribe to the channel for more untold tech stories reshaping the future. Share this video with someone who still thinks Africa is behind. Because this is just the beginning. And trust us, what's coming next will blow your mind.